that is the reading from our brother Gary, and his title, and I hope I can do this right. Gary asked me to do it with some conviction. So here goes. Don't you tell me what to do. All right, Brother Gary.
Good morning, everyone. If whoever is watching is, remember when you had me up in that chair picking up sticks on the Sabbath? I'm going to be needing your help today. Okay, you're a smart man. I know you can do it. So Brother Trent said it pretty good. Don't you tell me what to do. I was originally going to talk my concluding happy day talk. That would be something where I would really like a physical audience. And I handed out forms. I would appreciate if people could get those forms back to me somehow in the mail, possibly. What makes God happy? What makes Jesus happy? What makes you happy? One example I'll give for what I think might make or did make Jesus happy was when the little children came to him and he told the disciples, do not deny the little children to come. So please mail those answers to me. Brother Gary Hoagland, that's Hoglund, at 48 Forest Avenue, Fox Lake, Illinois, 60020. I should be in the church book so I can complete my survey analysis. So this new subject came about with just my reading of 1 Samuel. In our little ecclesia in Fox Lake, we are given a word to find, a word or a phrase every Sunday, and you're told what book of the Bible it's in, and you try to read through it and find that word. So as I was reading, looking for my word, which was goads, Goads. I haven't found it yet. Probably read over it again. I came to this reading in 1 Samuel 13, and with all the history of how the people wanted a king, they had God as their king, but they wanted an earthly king to represent them, and Samuel wasn't happy about it, and God wasn't real happy about it. It is phrased this way: now the people had done an evil thing in the eyes of the Lord by asking for a king. And I think, and examined everything, this is maybe the second or third battle position that they're in with what we read about. So as Brother Trent read, Saul doesn't wait for Samuel. And he knew that he should wait. We turn to chapter 10, verse 8. He was told, go down ahead of me to Gilgal. I will surely come down to you to sacrifice burnt offerings and fellowship offerings. But you must wait 7 days until I come to you and tell you what you are to do. And also, further back, even in chapter 7, verses 8 to 10, they said to Samuel, "Do not stop crying out to the Lord our God for us, that he may rescue us from the hand of the Philistines." Then Samuel took a suckling lamb and offered it up as a whole burnt offering to the Lord. He cried out to the Lord on Israel's behalf, and the Lord answered him. While Samuel was sacrificing the burnt offering, the Philistines drew near to engage Israel in battle. But that day the Lord thundered with loud thunder against the Philistines and threw them into such a panic that they were routed before the Israelites. So the people knew, and King Saul knew, the king that was hiding in the luggage when they were looking for him the second time to anoint him. They all knew that only Samuel was to make the offering. He was the prophet, and he was also called the seer. In those days, prophets were also called seers. So Samuel, everything's collapsing around him. The army's disappearing. They're all hiding, and "What have you done?" asks Samuel. Saul replied, "Well, the men were scattering, and you did not come at the set time." Probably another test, that a failed test. "I thought, now the Philistines will come down against me at Gilgal, and I have not sought the Lord's favor." And I love the way this is phrased. It's a little different than I think what Brother Trent read. "So I felt compelled to offer the burnt offering." And that reminds me of Aaron and Moses. And I threw it in the fire, and out came this golden calf. I was compelled. I felt compelled to take over and do it my way. I was going to handle the situation. So, a failed test. Hey, don't tell me what to do. I'll figure out a different way. I'll figure it out my way. Maybe I can figure it out better than God's way. So has everyone heard this phrase? You can all raise your hands out in video land. Don't tell me what to do. I've been hearing it a little bit lately. Maybe you've told that to people, or they've said it to you, maybe someone at work, and maybe we get maybe a little fed up at work because people are constantly telling us what to do. Hey, I know my job, and maybe we're thinking it, don't tell me what to do. Maybe it happens at home, maybe it happens with the neighbors. Don't you tell me what to do. I'm going to go continue in 1 Samuel at chapter 3 now, at verse 19. We're kind of going backwards in this book, the way I wrote it. "The Lord was with Samuel as he grew up, and he let none of his words fall to the ground, and all Israel from Dan to Beersheba recognized that Samuel was attested as a prophet of the Lord. The Lord continued to appear at Shiloh, and there he revealed himself to Samuel through his word." So Saul, King Saul, Israel's first, had violated what's called the fundamental requirements of his office. His kingship was not to function independently of the law and the prophets. So, like failing your first tests. I believe we get tested a lot. And I also believe, well, that for me, and I don't know about anyone else, there are times when we say to the Lord, Don't tell me what to do. I don't want to listen to you right now. Okay, question for the audience. How many Bible examples of this are there in scriptures? Anybody know the number? Brother Trent, how many do you think? Of don't tell me what to do. That's my answer. A lot. I didn't count them up. We're not going to have this a 45-minute talk today. There's a lot. Good. I knew you were a smart man. And going to go through the Bible basics. What do you think the first example is of the first person that didn't listen?
Eve.
Correct. Oh, you're going to make this talk so easy, Trent. And, the crafty serpent. Did God really say you must not eat from the tree in the garden? The woman said to the serpent, we may eat fruit from the tree in the garden, but God did say you must not eat fruit from the tree that is in the middle of the garden, and you must not touch it or you will die. What's wrong with that verse, Trent? What's wrong with what Eve said? That's correct. She embellished upon what God told them. Sorry I got to pick on you, Trent, but you're doing very good. So Eve added to the words of God. And Brother Trent figured it out. Let me get my next favorite example that I use all the time. This is Genesis chapter 4, 4 to 8. And it's a jealousy thing. Abel brought the fat portions from some of the firstborn of his flock. And we know how the fat portions and the sacrifices and after they left Egypt were really important. And the Lord looked with favor on Abel and his offering, but not Cain's. And he was downcast and he was very angry with a downcast face. So he gets a talking to. Why are you angry? The Lord said, if you do what is right, will you not be accepted? And if you do not, sin is crouching at your door, and its desire is to have you. And we must master that. I don't know what the time frame from that verse to when he goes out in the field. I don't know if it's a matter of hours or a matter of days. I don't know that. But the talk from the Lord didn't do any good. If you do what is right, and if we do what is right, won't we be accepted? But if we don't want to be told what to do, don't you tell me what to do, Lord, we won't be accepted. Don't tell me what to do, I'll go and kill my brother. Another question for Trent coming up. Moses was reluctant. He didn't want the job. He didn't really want the job of leading Israel out of Egypt. How many times, Brother Trent, and I was wrong on this, I thought it was less. How many times did Moses express reluctance with God about taking over that job? There's a specific number of reluctance times. How many times he said, go get somebody else. I don't want to do it. Can't you go get somebody else? I can't talk. No. 5. or the 5. That is in Exodus. Exodus chapter 4. And I thought it was 4 until I reread this. In that verse 13, but Moses said, "Oh Lord, please send someone else to do it." That was the 5th time that he said to the Lord, I don't want to do this. I'm not qualified for this job. Send somebody else. Don't tell me what to do. So this was Moses' 5th and final expression of reluctance. And the Lord is not real happy. Verse 14, then the Lord's anger burned against Moses. And he's like, okay, like, what about your brother Aaron then? How many times have we not wanted to do something in our service, including me? How many times are we reluctant to go and do something that we know we should be doing or God wants us to do? Now, would we have been any better than Moses? It's a lot easier to look at other people and their situations and to judge them than it is to sometimes examine our own. Another one of my favorite, a real good example of don't tell me what to do, don't you tell me, Lord, is Jonah. That might be he went, nope, not going to do that. Nope. And why? We find out later on in Jonah. I know you to be a loving and forgiving God. I don't want you to save those wicked people, Lord. Don't tell me what to do. I know you might want to save those wicked Ninevites. So there has to be a lot of examples, hundreds of, if you wanted to look them all up, of don't tell me what to do. I want to flip that around now and look at a few examples of people in the Bible that said, yes, tell me what to do, Lord. Be happy if you could tell me what to do. And probably, still in Genesis, back in Genesis, this is the first one I can think of. There might be others, probably a lot others, but I don't think there's as many people that say, yes, Lord, tell me what to do, lead me in Scripture, as there are who constantly fought against it, wanted to do things their way or our way. Noah was one who said, yes, tell me what to do. I'll listen. In Genesis 6, the Lord saw how great, and these are some sad verses, the great wickedness of man on the earth. Every inclination of the thoughts of his heart was only evil all the time. And the Lord was grieved that he had made man. And this part of the verse always gets me, that his heart was filled with pain. I will wipe out mankind. I'll wipe everything out I've made. And he's come to this conclusion, but Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And we have the account of Noah, a righteous man and blameless. And he walked with God. He was different than everybody else. You think just one person, only one person different than everybody else? How many times have we grieved God and filled his heart with pain with the things we have done? I believe, just with what's going on today, we're in that time again of man's great wickedness on the earth. Every thought of the heart, only evil all the time. But Noah found favor in the eyes of the Lord. And in the account of Noah, we read, he was a righteous man, blameless among the people of his time, and walked with God. Could that be said about me? I highly doubt it. Look in Psalms 1. I'm just looking up some stuff on righteous. Psalms 1, verses 5 to 6. Therefore, the wicked will not stand in the judgment, nor sinners in the assembly of the righteous. For the Lord watches over the way of the righteous, but the way of the wicked will perish. Back to Genesis. What did Noah do? Genesis 6, verse 22. We're told, and this should be an example for me and an example for everybody, Noah did everything just as God commanded him. Never said, Lord, don't you tell me what to do. Did everything as God wanted him to do. My question for us today is, do we? So how many examples are there in Scripture of people that want to be told what to do? Brother Trent, what's your guess? Hopefully a lot. That's my answer. I got that here too. A lot. Our don't tell me what to do should be, please tell me what to do and teach me, O Lord, to walk in the way that is right. As Samuel said to the people, back to 1 Samuel again. In chapter 12, verses 23 to 25, and this sounds exactly what Joshua said later, and I wonder if maybe this is where Joshua got the phrase. Chapter 12, verses 23 to 25. And do you know what phrase that is, Brother Trent? I don't think I would have got that one without it in front of me. As for me and my house, Samuel, 1 Samuel, as for me, far be it from me that I should sin against the Lord by failing to pray for you. And so for the people, after they sinned by wanting a king, he's like, I don't want to pray for you, but that would be sinful if I didn't. And I will teach you the way that is good and right, but be sure to fear the Lord and serve him faithfully with all your heart. Consider what great things he has done for you. Yet, if you persist in doing evil, both you and your king, both you and your new king that you had to have, Because God isn't good enough to be your king. You got to be like the other people. Yet if you persist in doing evil, both you and your king that you had to have will be swept away. I'm going to conclude again with a couple more good verses on good examples of more people that we can think of who did do the right things. And I want to use that parable in Matthew 21. It's the parable of the two sons, and we probably remember what that is. One says, yeah, I'll do it, and he doesn't do it, and the other one says, no, I won't do it, and he goes and does it. It's Matthew 21, verse 28, the parable of the two sons. What do you think Jesus is saying? There was a man who had two sons. He went to the first and said, son, go and work today in the vineyard. I will not, he answered. It's like, don't you tell me what to do. I'm not going to go work in your vineyard today. But later he changed his mind and he went. Then the father went to the other son and said the same thing. He answered, I will, sir. But he did not go. Which of the two did what his father wanted? And it was, they answered the first. And I know a person like that. Well, always says, I'm not doing that. I won't do that. Go do it yourself. Later on, he goes and does it after he grieves my heart. Then we're going to conclude then with Matthew chapter 16. More on Jesus' teaching here at verse 24. Matthew 16, starting at verse 24. Then Jesus said to his disciples, if anyone would come after me, he must deny himself, take up his cross, and follow me. For whoever wants to save his life will lose it, but whoever loses his life for me will find it. What good will it be for a man if he gains the whole world, yet forfeits his soul? Or what can a man give in exchange for his soul? For the Son of Man is going to come in his Father's glory with his angels, and then he will reward each person according to what he has done. I tell you the truth, some of you who are standing here will not taste death before they see the Son of Man coming in his kingdom. If any one of us would come after Jesus, take up our cross. We can't do that, and we can't follow Jesus if we have that attitude of, don't you tell me what to do. We need to take up our cross and follow Jesus and change our attitude to gratitude, which a lot of people can't do, are incapable of doing. We need to do that. Take that cross up and say to Jesus, yes, Lord, please tell me what to do.